Oduna Ohudu Ijana Nitai Joyam Vishnu Parpam Humsha Parbrajaka Acharya Ashtatara Sarasushamachala Abhacharna Arabinda Bhakti Vedanta Swamiji Prabhupada ki ISKCON Protestata Acharya Vishnu Prabhupada ki Ananta Kori Vaishnava Vrinda ki Shamaveta Go Bhakti Vrinda ki Sri Sri Nitai Gauranga Mandir ki Srila Prabhupada ki Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Jutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagurujatam Sahaganavaganatam Shajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijam Shaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shibishakang Vinamscha Mantra Guru Ajapta Shika Guru Ganta Charane Age Karya Vandan Vanshaka Patu Vishnu Kripa Shindu Vebaja Patitanam Papane Vaishnavam Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinaya Namaste Sasri Devotees Shani Shishashani Krishna. I'm very enlivened to be able to be present at Nitai Gauranga Mandir, ISKCON Kolkata, and the special Janmabhumi of Srila Prabhupada, where Lord Nityananda himself performed pastimes. So we're going to be discussing over the next few sessions when I'm speaking here, some of the preaching of Lord Nityananda. The preaching of Lord Nityananda in Gaudadesh, Bengal Bhumi, where you were also were given the opportunity to preach Krishna consciousness. So Nityananda Prabhu has a special relationship with the preachers in Bengal. So we're very honored to be able to discuss his glories in your association for the next few days. We'll chant this verse from Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, which is relevant to the topic of discussion. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Nityanande Agya Dilo Jao Gauda Deshe Anargo Prema Bhakti Kodaho Prakashe Nityanande Agya Dilo Jao Gauda Deshe Anargo Prema Bhakti Kodaho Prakashe. Let's chant.
Nityananda Agya Dilo Jao Gauda Deshe
Nityananda Agya Dilo Jao Gauda Deshe
Anargala Prema Bhakti Kariho Prakashe
Anargala Prema Bhakti Kariho Prakashe
Nityananda Agya Dilo Jao Gauda Deshe
Nityananda Agya Dilo Jao Gauda Deshe
Anargala Prema Bhakti Kariho Prakashe
Anargala Prema Bhakti Kariho Prakashe
Matri Mandoli.
Nityananda Agya Dilo Jao Gauda Deshe
Nityananda Agya Dilo Jao Gauda Deshe
Anargala Prema Bhakti Kariho Prakashe
Anargala Prema Bhakti Kariho Prakashe
Nityanande unto Nityananda Prabhu,
unto Nityananda Prabhu,
Agya Dilo, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered. Jaha, go to Deshe, go to Bengal. On our goal, without restriction. On our goal, without restriction.
without restriction,
Prema Bhakti,
Prema Bhakti,
devotional service in love of God.
devotional service in love of God,
Koreha Prakashe,
Kareya Prakashi,
manifest.
manifest.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Nityananda Prabhu, go to Bengal and without restriction manifest devotional service to the Lord Krishna consciousness. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Nityananda Prabhu. No? Okay. We know that for the first 30 years, Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were not preaching together in the first 30 years of Nityananda Prabhu's life. We'll discuss that at a later day. We'll discuss his birth in Ekachakra. But we know that he remained in Ekachakra for 12 years. And then one itinerant sannyasi came, Nityananda Prabhu's arrangement, because he had to somehow or other extricate himself from the bondage in the family life. So that one sannyasi came and requested from Hadayoja, that you please give me your son, and as an assistant, and he couldn't refuse. We'll discuss this more later, maybe on Nityananda later, another day. We'll discuss that later, his Janma and Ekachakra Lila. And then he went with that sannyasi. He traveled for 20 years. All over India, as described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, all the different places he goes, all over India many times. The itinerant mendicant Paribrajak, Nityananda Mahashai, traveling. Although he wasn't actually distributing Krishna consciousness, he wasn't preaching the holy name. He was waiting for the order. Here is the order. Nityananda would preach in Bengal. He was waiting for the order. And then after 20 years of traveling, he heard that Mahaprabhu had been, so this time Nityananda is 32 years old. 32 years old. And he came to Navadip, hearing that Goshundar had concluded his Bidda Lila, his pastimes of enjoying the learning. Sarva Navadipe Proti Nogore Sishigon Shange Krida, was that Bidda Rosh Krida Kore. Bidda Rosh. Mahaprabhu was enjoying the Bidda Rosh. He's the Lila Purushotam, just like he enjoys in Braj, the picnics with the Gopagon, cowherds, village life. In Navadip, when Goshundar appears, he appears in the family of Brahmins, and he's a scholar. He's the Navadip Chandra, he's the rising moon, the most brilliant scholar. And so he's enjoying, and the eternal associates, they appeared to actually participate Shishyagon Shangai Vidya Rosh Kridagore, Shishyagon Shangai, with his students and disciples. So after some time, Mahaprabhu, he desired to begin the Sankirtan movement. And in his late teens, early 20s, he went to Gaya, was initiated, Harinam. He went to Gaya to perform Shraddha, Pinda, for Jagannath Misra. And there he met Ishwar Puri Prabhupada. And there he was initiated, and then he came back and began the Sankirtan movement. And that's described Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, end of the Adi Khanda. So the whole of the Adi Khanda is Mahaprabhu's childhood and scholarly pastimes, Chaitanya Bhagavat. And Madhya Lila, Chaitanya Bhagavat, begins Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan Lila, Madhya Lila. And that carries on all the way to the end of Madhya Lila, and Mahaprabhu takes sannyas. So Vrindavan Das Thakur, he's writing the Chaitanya Bhagavat. The Adi Khanda, Madhya Khanda is all Navadip Lila. Adi Khanda, Madhya Khanda. At the end of Madhya Khanda, he takes sannyas. And then he goes to Puri. So actually, after compiling the Chaitanya Bhagavat, after some time, that was the immediate generation after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's presence, Vrindavan Das Thakur. His mother was received direct mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Vrindavan Das Thakur composed Chaitanya Bhagavat. Then sometime later, Kaviraj Goswami, he was older, and it was sometime later that the Vaishnavas in Vrindavan, Raghunath Das Goswami and the Goswamis, they requested Kaviraj Goswami, Kaviraj Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to write Caitanya-caritāmṛta, elaborating more on the pastimes outside of Navadip. So actually both books are required for the complete description. And in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Kaviraj Goswami, he summarizes Navadip pastimes in 4 chapters, summarizes, and it begins Madhya Lila, Mahaprabhu Sannyas. So Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas. This particular incident, this meeting was the 15th chapter of Madhya Lila, Caitanya-caritāmṛta. So Mahaprabhu, he's taken sannyas and he's gone to Jagannath Puri. Now it's interesting that actually Nityananda Prabhu, when he came, he heard that Mahaprabhu had begun the Sankirtan movement, so he came to Navadip, and then Mahaprabhu said that a great person has come. And he sent his servants out to find that great person, and they looked all over Navadip, they looked everywhere. All the outskirt areas and the homes of even the non-devotees, they searched everywhere in Navadip, and they couldn't find Nityananda Prabhu. And Mahaprabhu said, yes, Nityananda Prabhu, very esoteric person, very difficult to find. And then he went next day to, where did he go? Next day, where did they meet? Nandana-acharya Bhavan. It's just beside ISKCON. So there's the meeting place of Nityananda Goswami. Nityananda Prabhu, he was already 32 years old. Mahaprabhu was about 20 years old when they met in Navadip. And then for 4 years they performed Navadip pastimes. Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna bolo re shabai, shikani shabna di fiche, niche go nitai. It's so nice to come here to go to Nitai, go down to the Mandir. We can see in the mood of preaching and distributing love of God here, unarticle without description in Mongol Bhumi, Gaudadesh, and so. They were traveling and preaching Krishna consciousness. Nitai Go, and so much pastimes are there. Navadip Lila, Navadip preaching. Nityananda Mahashai, he's preaching with his. In fact, Mahaprabhu, they were performing the Sankirtan in Srivashangan. Srivas Thakur, 4 brothers, they were great Vaishnavas. They were already performing Sankirtan even before Mahaprabhu had began the Sankirtan pastimes. They were already performing Sankirtan. Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, Chandrasekhar Acharya, Sankirtan was going on in Mayapur. And Mahaprabhu, he said, well, let's do Sankirtan every night, brothers. We're wasting so much time sleeping. They do Sankirtan, they begin in the evening, Sandhya Arati, they begin the Kirtan, they go all night. Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu dancing, the different Vaishnavas performing Kirtan, Prakasha Pandit, Mukunda Madhav Ghosh performing Kirtan in the house of Srivas Thakur, dancing all night. And then in the morning, they would all go take bath in Maganga. What a life. Take bath in Maganga and then go back to their respective residences, worship the deities, take prasadam, rest, and then next evening again come. So then this was going on, devotees were relishing so much the Sankirtan Rash, Prema Bhakti. Go locate a Prema Dhan, Harinama Sankirtan. The rasa, the mellows of Braja are tasted in the Nam Sankirtan, in the performance of Nam Sankirtan. Then the Goloka Prem that is experienced. Sankirtan movement or Sankirtan performance. We're performing Sankirtan every day and enjoying. And then one day Mahaprabhu, he said to Lord Nityananda that, and Haridas Thakur, Shunu Nityananda, Shunu Haridas, Shabatra, Amaragai Koraho Prakash. On all places, Sabatra. Amaragai, my teachings, my philosophy, my instruction. Sabatra, Koraho Prakash. You reveal my instructions, my teachings everywhere. So for the first, Mahaprabhu first he's doing Vidya Lila, enjoying, and then he gave that up, Sankirtan, Nam Sankirtan, and then Nityananda Prabhu came, and then they're relishing the holy name, the Kirtan in Mayapur. And then Mahaprabhu beginning the spreading, and the first spreaders, the first preachers of the Sankirtan, the first preachers. Shunu Shunu Nityananda, Shunu Haridas. Haridas Thakur was also an empowered charismatic preacher. You know, even before Haridas Thakur, even before the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, before the appearance, Haridas Thakur was aged. He left in Puri, Shidabakula. You've been, no doubt. Shidabakula. He was an old person. He was in his 70s. Mahaprabhu in 40. So Haridas Thakur, he was already chanting 3 lakhs even before Mahaprabhu appeared. And he was associating with Advaita Acharya. And therefore they were in ecstasy. They were chanting the holy name and calling out Hari Hari on the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the Purnima. Haridas Thakur was already deeply associating with Advaita Thakur and doing his bhajan 3 lakhs a day. And so he was already, and followed by many people. He followed by many people. In fact, one Qazi became envious. One Qazi, was it? Yeah, Qazi. No, Ramchandra Khan. And he tried to a conspiracy to try to ill repute Haridas Thakur. So many people, he had many followers. So Mahaprabhu wanting to begin the Sankirtan spreading, Sabatra, Koroho Prakash in all places, then he orders Nityananda Prabhu, who came for this. Nityananda Prabhu, he came. Nitya Harinama Pradam Devam Avaduta Shiromani. He's the deity of distributing the holy name. Nityananda Harinama Pradam Devam Avaduta Shiromani. So when Gaushunda is beginning to fulfill his mission, that Pritipiti Achay Joto Nogodadi Gram Sabatra Prochahoy Bemonam. This is the mission in every town and village. Pritipiti Achay Joto Nogodadi Gram in every town and village. Shabatra Procha Hoibe Monam. My name will be preached. So beginning this is the purpose of his incarnation. It's the purpose of his incarnation. And he relies on the most responsible assistant. Most responsible assistant, Nityananda Prabhu, to actually lead up, to begin the preaching and become the leader of the preachers. Nityananda Mahashaya ki. So then Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, we could speak for months just Nityananda Prabhu. This is the intro. Jashishi Nitai Gauranga ki. Shri Prabhupada ki. Now there's a relationship. In Panchatattva, you can study Adi Lila, Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and listen to Prabhupada's lectures. Prabhupada describes it, the Panchatattva. He comes with the 5 personalities. His appearance. And we're worshipping Panchatattva. We're not just worshipping Mahaprabhu alone. In some places it's Mahaprabhu deity, but we're worshipping Panchatattva. And actually the Ishtadevato, that's the central main temple in Mayapur, Panchatattva. So Panchatattva, they come and they have relationships amongst each other. They have relationships amongst each other. How they interact with each other is described, and it's very wonderful hearing about how they interact with each other. Panchatattva. So we'll be discussing a few. So Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they have a relationship between them. It's a relationship. And that's described by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. That Chaitanya Goshai Jare Bole Borobai. Teho Kore Mo Prabhu Chaitanya Goshai. Chaitanya Goshai Jare, in regard to Lord Nityananda, Jare Bole Borobai. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he considers Lord Nityananda his elder brother, Borobai. In fact, there was one incident there described by Vrindavandas Thakur that Murari Gupta, he offered obeisances to Lord Chaitanya. They were coming, he offered obeisances to Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya was unhappy and said, you don't know the etiquette. Murari Gupta was confused. Then that evening he had a dream, and Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya were coming. Lord Nityananda was in front. He has assumed the form of Balaram. Brajendra Nandana Jai Shachishuta Hoilo Shay Balarama Hoilo Nitai. Lord Balaram, in the mood of Lord Balaram. And then Murari Gupta offered obeisances to Lord Balaram, and then Lord Chaitanya, and then Lord Chaitanya, happy that he understood. So Mahaprabhu's mood is that Lord Nityananda is his senior Bharava. And Teho Kohe, Lord Nityananda, he says that more Prabhu Chaitanya Goshai. More Prabhu Chaitanya Goshai. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's thinking of Lord Nityananda as his elder brother, and Nityananda, he's thinking of Lord Chaitanya as his master. And that's their relationship. And then in this way there's discussion, in this way there's activity, there's pastimes performed together. This is always a fundamental relationship. Lord Nityananda considers Chaitanya Mahaprabhu his Prabhu, and Lord Chaitanya considers Nityananda his elder brother. So Nityananda Prabhu, he came and he was associating closely those pastimes in Navadip, the Navadip Leela, performing Sankirtan. They were always together dancing. And then in the preaching, Mahaprabhu ordered Nityananda Prabhu to begin the preaching. And then he preached, and there's so much pastimes. The deliverance of Jagai Madhai. Dinahin jota chilo hariname udharilo tashaki Jagai Madhai. So important that Leela. It's so important that Leela is the Tashaki Jagai Madhai. The evidence, what's the evidence? What's the witness, Tarshaki? How is it that you call him Patit Pavan? How is it that you call him that everyone can be delivered? What's the evidence? Well, the most wretched. Jagai Madhai, the most wretched, the most degraded, were delivered by Nityananda. They attacked Lord Nityananda. How more offensive? He's coming to give mercy, they attack him. He was bleeding through the pot. His head was cut, he was bleeding. How more offensive, how more unqualified? How more unqualified could you be? To receive mercy, that he's coming to give mercy and you try to kill him, you throw the pot and he's bleeding. How more unqualified could you be? And Lord Nityananda Prabhu, by his mercy, bestowed love of Godhead. On Jagai Madhai became such exalted Vaishnavas, worshipable, exalted Vaishnavas. This is Navadip Leela. That's all in Navadip Leela. Many pastimes are described of Nitai Gold in Navadip Dham, preaching, many pastimes. And then Mahaprabhu, he decided to take sannyas. That's another whole important Leela. Why he's taking sannyas, we can discuss another time. But first he made the decision to take sannyas, and first he revealed that to Nityananda Prabhu, explaining that the Ayurvedic medicine, Pipalakanda, is meant for reducing bile, is having the opposite effect. And Mahaprabhu said this to the devotees, and everyone was completely bewildered. What? Pipalakanda, bile reduction, opposite effect? Why Mahaprabhu saying this? But Lord Nityananda, he could understand that, yes, that my Prabhu will take sannyas. And he did. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, he got up and went to Katwa. Where is that renunciate Keshav Bharati? Where is that renunciate? He went to the ashram Keshav Bharati, Katwa. And that night he took sannyas. And with Nityananda Prabhu, not all the devotees even knew that Mahaprabhu was going to take sannyas. Only a handful of devotees knew. Chandrasekhar, Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda, Mukunda Datta. They went to Katwa with Mahaprabhu. And then having taken sannyas, Mahaprabhu is overwhelmed in love of God. Can you imagine? He's Krishna, he is Supreme Lord. And he's performing Leela to induce us to surrender to Krishna, so he personally accepts sannyas. And it's not like in ISKCON where to become a sannyasi, everybody knows. Everybody knows. There's a list. Everybody knows. And when you see that Acharya Ratna Prabhu, apna sannyas kobe, when you there's many great, but they will take sannyas. I mean, we know that. And then we have many devotees on the list, and then they take. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu took many years. We're always asking, we know everybody knows. Mahaprabhu, he didn't tell anybody. Suddenly, and then not that there was preparatory period, traveling with another sannyasi, and preparatory period. No, he just went from household to life. He was at home with Sachi Devi, Vishnu Priya taking prasadam. Next day, sannyasi. Not possible in ISKCON. So he went, and he went to Katwa along with Nityananda Prabhu, and then so you can imagine he's performing the Leela. So you can imagine Mahaprabhu after taking sannyas. There's some feelings of overwhelming feelings. Even us wretched souls, we feel that these initiations and ceremonies, you feel greatly purified. You feel greatly purified. Mahaprabhu, you imagine the ecstasy he was in when he took sannyas. That beautiful hair, shaving. Imagine how that would feel. Long, long, beautiful hair. And then, boom, shaved. Sannyas. And they were traveling. They just wandered off. Mahaprabhu. Ei besh koilo ebe Brindavan giya. Krishna nisheban kori nibrite boshia. Wandering in the Radha Desh, Mahaprabhu is explaining, Ei besh koilo, having accepted this dress, Ei besh koilo, Brindavan giya. I will go to Brindavan. Krishna nisheban kori nibrite boshia. And worship Lord Krishna in a secluded place. So he was just wandering off. He was complete madness, right? Madness. There's no plans, no schedule, nothing, no assistance, nothing. He was completely prema besh, overwhelmed, like a madman. He didn't know day or night. He didn't know what direction. And they were accompanying him, Nityananda Prabhu. They weren't going with him because he was at that stage. He was almost not possible communication. Not possible communication. Mahaprabhu was so overwhelmed after taking sannyas. And then they were wandering, they were with him a little behind, Nityananda Prabhu, Acharya Ratna and Mukunda Datta. And then they decided to go and speak with him, join him. So before that, Nityananda Prabhu, he said to Acharya Ratna, he said that you go to Shantipur and you tell Advaita Goshai to get prepared, and I will bring Gauchandra to Shantipur. You tell him, get prepared. And then, Acharya Ratna, then you go to Shantipur, then you go to Mayapur, and you tell all the devotees, you gather all the devotees and you bring them to Shantipur, and I will bring Mahaprabhu. So Acharya Ratna went, and then Nityananda Prabhu, he comes in front of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya says to him, oh, Nitai, Gojai, you're also coming to Vrindavan, very nice. He says, where are you going? Nityananda Prabhu, I'm going with you to Vrindavan. It's interesting how he the discussion, it's a little bit of, what's the word? He speaks in such a way that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is thinking something else. He's not lying, but he's just speaking in such a way. I'm going with you to Vrindavan. Well, that's true. I mean, ultimately. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, where is the Jamuna? Where is the Jamuna? And Nityananda Prabhu says, oh, here is the Jamuna. And then the cowherd boys, Nityananda told the cowherd boys, when the itinerant Shannashi comes in love of God and asks you, where is Vrindavan? You point him in the direction of the Ganga. So all of this was going on in Nityananda Prabhu's arrangement, and Mahaprabhu, thinking himself in Vrindavan, he jumped in the Ganga and was offering prayers. And then he sees on the other side, there's Advaita Acharya, he comes in a boat with some dry cloth. Oh, Advaita Acharya, oh, Thakur, you've also come to Vrindavan. How did you even know I was in Vrindavan? You come to Vrindavan. Just remember that those of you who are seasoned preachers in Bengal, Ma Ganga, she looks pretty much the same all the way through Bengal. All the way. It's the same, the plain, the fields, and the Ma Ganga, the colour and everything. But Mahaprabhu, he's thinking he's in Vrindavan. He's thinking he's in Vrindavan. That's how you can just imagine the consciousness, his love of God. Oh, Acharya Thakur, you've also come to Vrindavan. Tumi jekane ache shekane Vrindavan. Wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. And then he says, oh, Nityananda has lied. No. Acharya explains that here is the Jamuna is also flowing. Ganga, Saraswati, Jamuna, Sangam is there. Actually, the Sangam is at Prayag. Prayag, that's where they join. Still going on. Kumbh Mela, still going on. So it's ecstatic preaching, book distribution, Nam Sankirtan in the Prayagraj. So it's also the Jamuna. So in this way, then there was festival that Mahaprabhu had brought. Nityananda Prabhu brought so the devotee care. Devotee care. To study the character of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, understand how to serve the great soul. He's serving more Prabhu Chaitanya Gosai. So he's doing it, he's arranging that all the devotees can come. Mahaprabhu is, of course, it's not that he doesn't care, but Mahaprabhu is overwhelmed with the feelings of love of Krishna, that he's not concerning himself with these things. Nityananda Prabhu, what about all the Navadip devotees? How can they go down here to Shangi Gone Nitashita Korimane Shay Joy Brajendra Shutapash? Go down here to Shangi Gone Nitashita Korimane. They're not ordinary. They're not even ordinary devotees, although devotees are not ordinary. But they're not even ordinary devotees. There's Navadipasis. They're Nityashita. They're eternally they're associating with Mahaprabhu, and they came to participate in his pastimes at the Vidya Leela, Navadip Leela, Sankirtan Leela, Shivraj Thakur. All of these devotees are mentioned, or whenever Kaviraj Goswami or Vrindavan Thakur get a chance, they mention all the names of all the eternal associates of the Lord who are associating with him in Navadip. So how could he just go and never associate with him again? Just try to just consider Shachi Devi. Just consider Shachi Devi. She had eight daughters. They all passed away after birth. I mean, who has such a life? It's a tragedy. 8 daughters, every one of them passed away. There's a reason for that. Can discuss another day. And then, okay, she has a son, Vishwarup. Oh, so elated, Jagannath Mishra. Sachi Devi, a son, Vishwarup. He's great Vaishnav. Shravane Mone Vadane, Shavendriya Gone, Krishna Bhakti Bini Nahe, Shuni Nahe Bole. Vishwarup Mahashai. Savendriya Gone, Shravane Mone Gone, with his mind, with his words, with his speech. Krishna Bhakti Bina Nahe Bole Nahe Shun, nothing but Krishna Bhakti. Vishwarup Mahashai. It was so painful when he took sannyas. So painful. The Advaita Thakur, all the devotees of Navadip, they were suffering. There was so much pain. Chaitanya Gosai, he fell unconscious. He fell out of pain when Vishwarup took sannyas. He fell unconscious. So her first son took sannyas. So all she had was Nimai. Sachi Devi, all she had was Nimai. And then Jagannath Mishra leaves the world. Sachi Devi, Maja Soda. And then and everyone left, and all she had was Nimai. And then Nimai took sannyas. Just, how can Sachi Devi cope with that? 8 daughters passed away. Vishwarup took sannyas. Jagannath Mishra leaves the world. And then Nimai, everything in Nimai. Shachi Nandan. Jai Shachi Nandan. Nimai, everything for her. And he takes sannyas. How can, so Nityananda Prabhu, he's feeling that. How is possible she can carry on? Nityananda Gosai. Kripamoy, Putit Pavan, Param Karuna. He's thinking about Sachi Devi. How can she at least let them see again? He arranged everything. No one told him. Who told him? Who told him to arrange it? He's arranging everything. He's even bewildering Mahaprabhu. Oh, this is Vrindavan, bring him to Shantipur. And he's arranging everything. Acharya-ratna goes, brings all the devotees from Navadip to Shantipur. Nityananda Prabhu, he's caring about the devotees. He's caring about the devotees. And when Sachi Devi came and she got down from the palanquin, she got down, the first thing she sees, Nimai, she sees Goshundo, sannyasi, shaven head, sannyas. Lal, saffron cloth. The tears, there's a picture there in Ultadanga, Anangamoni has a picture of Mahaprabhu and Sachi Devi embracing Shantipur. And she says, first thing she says, do not do like Vishwarup. Do not do like Vishwarup. So then there was 12 days they remained in Shantipur, 12 days. Mahaprabhu, along with all the Mayapur devotees, Nityananda Prabhu and others, and they're performing Sankirtan. And those kirtans, that festival, the devotees, they didn't know Mahaprabhu is going to go sometime. We don't know where, we don't know when we'll see him again. Can you imagine the quality association they were having? They're performing Sankirtan at night, they were discussing Krishna Katha, Advaita Thakur, others are speaking Krishna Katha, feasting. All the Navadip devotees came, except Vishnu Priya. But everyone else came, and all of the devotees in Shantipur also. There's thousands of people. Advaita Thakur, he hosted them all and fed them and maintained them all in order to Vaishnava Seva. And then there's the discussion. Now, what's going to happen? Mahaprabhu is going to go. Shanna Shiradharma Nahe Shannash Koriya Nijja Janmasthane Rohe Kutumbalaya. Mahaprabhu, from his own lips, he explains, Shannash Dharma Nahi is not the duty of a sannyasi. Shannash Koriya, having accepted sannyas. Nijja Janmasthane Rohe, to remain in one's place of birth. Kutumbalaya, with the family members. So I have taken sannyas, suddenly I've taken sannyas. He said, I didn't really think it out. I didn't really consider everything, but what is done is done. I've taken sannyas. So now, I cannot give up your association. Although it's not possible for a sannyasi to remain at home with the family, I cannot give up your association. So what to do? You make an arrangement, he requested the devotees. You make an arrangement whereby I can strictly follow principles of sannyas, but I can also keep your association. Sachi Devi said, yes. She said, it's very painful for me that you are having accepted sannyas, but if I would hear the people speaking criticism of you, what kind of sannyasi? He's so attached to his home, he's so attached to his family, what type of sannyasi? That hearing that criticism would be more painful for me. So, you have to go away, yes. And she said, but Oriya Goriya, ek badi dui ghor. Oriya Goriya, ek badi dui ghor. Just like 2 rooms in the house, Orisha and Gaudadesh, Mongol Bhumi. Like similar, like 2 rooms in the house. Similar. Oriya Goriya. Similar. People look a little similar, language a little similar, custom, culture a little similar. Oriya Goriya. So you go to Jagannath Puri and then Tomra Shop Paro Gamon Agamon, Ganga Shnaneo Hobeta Ragamon. You're all able to come and go to Puri. And Ganga Shnaneo Hobeta Ragamon. He also may come back to Bengal in order to bathe in Maganga. And when Mahaprabhu did eventually, after 4 years, he came back to Bengal. He gave the excuse that Gauda deshe hor moi dui shamasrai janani janabi dui doyamoy. In Gauda Desh I have 2 shelters, Sachi Devi and Maganga. So let me go to Vrindavan via Bengal, and I will associate with Sachi Devi and Ganga. But in the meantime, the devotees were able to come every year, and every year they did come from Mayapur and other places, Adi Shapdagram and Kumarahatta and Kulinagram, all of the different places where Mahaprabhu's devotees were here in Bengal. They would all gather in the house of Advaita Acharya, and then with Shivananda Shain, they would begin their journey of 4 weeks, a month, walking to Puri. And then 5-6 weeks would take. And then they would remain there 4 months and then come back again. So half of their year actually was dedicated to just participating in Ratha Jatra Mahamahotshav in Jagannath Puri with Mahaprabhu. So then they decided, okay, Mahaprabhu agreed, okay, we'll go to Puri, go to Jagannath Puri. And then Advaita Acharya, he actually selected the 4 people to accompany Gosundara to Jagannath Puri. Who were those? We have many learned scholars of the Goswami literature present here today. So who can tell me who were the 4 people who accompanied Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Puri from Shantipur? Mukunda Datta? Nityananda? Yeah. Chandrasekhar Acharya, yeah. And Damodar Pandit. So these 4, they went and they were accompanying Mahaprabhu. And there's so much Leela on the way. And then there's Nityananda, it's the first chance he got to get the hand on the danda. Mahaprabhu, all he had was a danda. Because there's a different type. He was taking Mahaprabhu, the sannyas. It wasn't like in ISKCON, the sannyasis, they're different. ISKCON, they're institutional. Sannyas in ISKCON are like institutional leader. ISKCON, sannyas, is an institutional leader. So they're always in the festivals, they're leading. Sannyas is in ISKCON like institutional position. But Mahaprabhu's sannyas is not exactly like that because it wasn't like institution. His sannyas was not necessary actually. It was not necessary. But it took for practicing Krishna consciousness. But he took sannyas in order to travel away and preach. You wouldn't come back. You can't come back. You go away traveling and come back for years. How can you be a householder in that situation? He took sannyas for that reason. But it's not necessary for actually practicing Krishna consciousness. And Nityananda didn't approve. His first chance he got, Mahaprabhu sannyas. So he had nothing. He had no card, ATM card, no mobile, nothing. Just book ahead, make sure everyone's there to pick me up from the airport. You get it? Nothing. He jumped in the river, he had nothing. When he was in the Ganga floating down, his possessions, that's it. He had nothing, no key to a room, no shoulder bag, nothing. That's sannyas, you give up everything. And, he had no cloth, he had no even second cloth. Advaita Acharya had to bring dry cloth, he had nothing. He had the danda and he's traveling to Puri. And Jagadananda was carrying the danda and Jagadananda was going out collecting. He said to Nityananda, you kindly look after this danda. As soon as he got his chance, so he starts talking to the danda. Nityananda, he's talking to the, who you think you are? That you're punishing our Prabhu, who we carry in our heart. He has to carry you. We carry in our heart. He has to carry you. Here and there, who you think you are? He broke the danda. It was the ekadanda. It was the ekadanda. It was the impersonal sannyas. Mahaprabhu was his sannyas. Sannyas. He just took sannyas. It seems like not the preliminary is grihasta, but like we have our step by step in ISKCON. Brahmachari, grihasta, vanaprastha. It's like there's this sannyas, and whoever he could get sannyas from, he took. He was not Vaishnav, Keshav Bharati. He was impersonalist. So he was awarded the Ekadanda sannyasi, like the impersonalist. Although Mahaprabhu initiated him as Vaishnava just before the ceremony, just before he gave the mantra. In fact, Mahaprabhu gave him the mantra. What mantra will I give you? Well, last night I had a dream, and one effulgent Brahmin, he told me this mantra. I won't repeat it because you will become sannyasis. So it's a little confidential. So he told the mantra. He told Keshav Bharati that mantra. Oh, very nice mantra. Yes, we will initiate you in that mantra. So actually, Mahaprabhu initiated Keshav Bharati first. This is a Vaishnava sannyas mantra. So it was just sannyas. It was there's not vanaprastha, go and spend a few days. No, he just took. It was from immediately he jumped to sannyas, and then so he's accompanied by these 4 people: Acharya Ratna, Advaita Acharyas. You accompanying him. So he got the danda. Around the danda, yeah, got the danda. He broke the danda. And then for that reason, Mahaprabhu, he was not happy. And he said, it's my only possession. It's my only possession. What happened to the danda? Oh, you were in the kirtan, you were in the love of Godhead, you fell down, you broke it. So then Mahaprabhu said, no, I'm not happy. You go ahead of me or you go behind me, but I'm not going with you anymore. So for that reason, Mahaprabhu, he entered Jagannath Puri alone. And then Mahaprabhu delivered, so they came later, Nityananda Prabhu and the other devotees, and then they went to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So it appears now that Nityananda Prabhu, when he went to Puri that time, it appears that he remained in Puri for 4 years. From that time, remained in Puri for 4 years. Because what happens is that Mahaprabhu, he delivers Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Mahaprabhu is preaching upon accepting sannyasa. Immediately you could say it's a different style. It's a much more high-profile preaching style. He goes immediately to the most influential scholar in India, the guru of the king of Orissa. He's such an influential person. And later we hear when Mahaprabhu was in Varanasi, and Chandrasekhar and Tapa Mishra, and they're discussing with Prakasananda Saraswati about Mahaprabhu, and he's criticizing, I've heard about this sentimentalist. Even the great Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had become bewildered by this. So how famous was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya? How famous he was all over India as a scholar and a Vedantist. And then Mahaprabhu delivered him. It was extraordinary. It delivered him. It delivered him to Krishna Bhakti, to such a bhakta, that he couldn't even say the word mukti. Was that Ridvag vapi vividhan namaste jiveta, so jiveta yo bhakti padai sadaya bhakti. Mahaprabhu says, Acharya, you've changed the word from the Bhakti. I cannot hear that word mukti. I cannot say it, I cannot hear it. What a Vaishnava he became. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Mahaprabhu comes quickly in the morning. The Jagannath Prasad. Can you imagine? He's the epitome of smarta rituals. The Brahmin. What they have to do before they can eat in the morning. There's so much things. Meditation, dhyan, mantra, tantra, everything, snan, many hours. Then they can take food. The smartas. And Mahaprabhu comes, knocks on the door, just gets out of bed, hadn't even cleaned his teeth. He said, I hadn't even cleaned my damn mouth. Mahaprabhu gave the Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath. Immediately he accepted. So what a conversion. And then surprisingly, Mahaprabhu, he left Puri. After only being there a few weeks, he left Puri. And the reason he gave was that he told, Prataparudra Maharaj wasn't there, but Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, neither was Ramananda Roy, but Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was there, and Mahaprabhu's own associates who he brought. And he said that I want to search out Vishwarup, who's taken sannyas and gone south. We can say that we can conclude that at the time of Mahaprabhu, South India was really known as the place of pilgrimage. South India was the place, because there were all the great Vaishnava mandirs, the temples of Sri Ramanujacharya. We didn't have so much in Bengal like that, in North India. In South India, the centers of Vaishnava culture were established by Sri Ramanujacharya 1,000 years earlier, and then still in South India was so many Tirtha Sthan, Tirtha Jatra, and Shankararanya, Vishwarup, he also had gone to South India. So wandering, going from one holy place to the other. So many holy places in South India, one to the other, so many holy places. And Mahaprabhu said that I'm going to search out Vishwarup, I'm going to travel alone in South India, searching out Vishwarup. And Nityananda Prabhu said, well, so you let me come along with you. I know all the paths to the holy places, because he had traveled before. He'd been everywhere, Kanyakumari, everywhere, Rameshwaram, everywhere he'd been. It's all mentioned. He goes to these places. So I know all the paths. Prema beshe pote tumi hobe ochetone shob shmigri ki kore rakon. Prema beshe pote, on the path. When you become overwhelmed, you fall unconscious. Prema beshe pote tumi hobe ocheton, you fall down unconscious, overwhelmed with love of God when you're chanting the holy name. Shob shmigri ki kore rakon. Who will look after your kamandalu and your extra set of cloth? And shob shmigri ki kore rakon. Who will protect, who will look after you? You take me along with you. Mahaprabhu said, no, I will go alone because you broke my danda. And I want to practice sannyas and sleep on the ground and you won't let me do that. And Jagadananda, he makes the soft bed and brings the fragrant oils. So I will go alone. And then they said, no, you at least take one person. And the negotiation, and eventually they agreed. Krishna Das accompanied Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu went on the South Indian tour. It's so wonderful, so much preaching. Came back to Jagannath Puri. So what happens was, you'll find that when you return to Puri, then there's this issue with Krishna Das, who had become bewildered. Just imagine, we have to be so careful. I've become so puffed up. Now I'm so advanced. I don't need to worry about these things. But even the person associating with Mahaprabhu every day, associating with God every day. You're there, you're cooking for Him, you're preparing things, you're massaging Him every day with God. And he'd become bewildered by the Bhattatari women. He left. Mahaprabhu had to personally go and bring him back from their camp. It's an amazing story. It's an amazing incident. And then when he came back to Puri, Mahaprabhu said, this fellow, I took him along with me, but he caused trouble. He's bewildered, so I don't want him around anymore. Kala Krishna Dasi was so destroyed. Kala Krishna Dasi. So then it mentions that these devotees, the same 4 devotees who accompanied Mahaprabhu, Mukunda Datta, Acharya Ratna, Damodar Pandit and Nityananda Prabhu, they were discussing. So they remained. There's no mention that they went back to Bengal. They went to Puri and they were waiting there because at any time he might come back. So they were just waiting. Nityananda Prabhu, just waiting in Puri for 2 years. And then when this discussion of Kala Krishna Das, Nityananda Prabhu, he suggested that we need to send someone to Bengal to inform Shachi Devi and Acharya, Advaita Acharya, that Mahaprabhu has returned from the South Indian tour. So let's send Kala Krishna Das. Mahaprabhu, Kala Krishna Das. So then the devotees began. The devotees that came, they got the news, Mahaprabhu, and then they came the first visit. And that's described in great detail. This Kaviraj Goswami, South Indian tour, actually is one chapter. One chapter is Ramananda Samvad, and one chapter is Travel to the Holy Places, chapter 7, Madhya Lila. That's a 2-year period he's describing in one chapter. And then Mahaprabhu comes back to Puri. He comes back just around Snanyatra time. Snanyatra deke Prabhu boro shuk, Ishvara anavarshe deke Mahaprabhu boro duk. So he goes to Alalanat. And then the devotees come from Navadip, from Mayapur, and then they're arriving, as being described by Kaviraj Goswami. And then cleaning of the Gundicha temple, Rath Yatra, those pastimes. That's 4 chapters. So, and that's only a 21-day period. From Snan Yatra to the end of Rath Yatra, Snan Anubharsha is 15 days, and Rath Yatra 9 days. So what's that, 24 days. So it's around 3 weeks. So that 3-week period is discussed in 4 chapters. And a 2-year period discussed in 1 chapter. So Kaviraj Goswami, he's going into great detail on the Mahaprabhu's performance of Rath Yatra with the devotees from Bengal, a very important element, very important leela in our philosophy. He describes in great detail. And he says every year they came. He doesn't describe again, because he described one time in great detail, but every year such important pastimes were there. So Mahaprabhu, he was residing in, so devotees came and then they went back. They stayed 4 months and then they went back. Nityananda Prabhu stayed for the remaining 2 years. So altogether he was in Puri for 4 years. And then in that remaining 2 years, Mahaprabhu was repeatedly requesting permission. By this time, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was there, Ramananda Roy was there. So many associates came. Paramananda Puri, Keshav Bharati, and Paramananda Puri, and Ramananda Roy, Pratapurja Maharaj. So many people had come to Puri to associate with Mahaprabhu. Haridas Thakur, he'd come and he remained at Siddha Bakula. So they didn't really, and Gopinath, Gadadhar Pandit, and he took vow to Kshetra Sannyas because they weren't thinking that Mahaprabhu would leave now. They think he would remain. Jota Jota Udashin Sri Chaitanya Das Shabai Korilen Ashi Nila Chalabash. This is a chapter of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antakanda. Chapter 5 is actually the chapter when after Mahaprabhu goes to Ramkeli and then comes back. It's chapter 4, and then chapter 5 is being described. It's called The Glories of Nityananda Prabhu, chapter 5, Antakanda. We're going to discuss a few things. Actually, I'm just beginning, but that's just the introduction. That was meant to be... We only did the first verse. It's like 200 verses. So anyway, we'll carry on as we go. What time do we finish? What time to finish now? 9:30. So this is from 5th chapter, this text 215 of Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antakanda, chapter 5, text 215. There's 700 verses in the chapter. Glories of Lord Nityananda, there's 700 verses. It goes on and on and on and on. So we'll discuss and read a few things from that chapter. We've just got to it now. Jota Jota Udashin Sri Chaitanya Das Shabai Korilen Ashi Nila Chalabash. So Udasin, so many renunciates, those who were not in a householder life, they went and remained permanently in Puri with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And those who were the householders from Bengal, they would come and spend 4 months of the year and then go back. So Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were associating very closely together in Jagannath Puri the whole time. Shadai Apon Nam Sri Krishna Chaitanya. No, sorry, I'll say that again. Shadai Jopen Nam Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Swapnayo Nahika Nityananda Mukhe Onna. Even in his dreams, he would Shadai Jopen Nam Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda Prabhu, he is always chanting the name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Always chanting the Shadai. So always. Shapnayo, even in his dreams, Shapnayo, Nahika, Nityananda Mukhe Onna. He would not even say anything in dreams apart from Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Henomote Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Nitai Nila Chale Boshita Koren Duibai. In this way, the two brothers were remaining in Jagannath Puri enjoying pastimes. And then Ekdin, Gaushundur. Ekdin, Sri Gaushundur Narahari, Nibrite Boshila Nityananda Shange Kori. So one day, Mahaprabhu, he took Nityananda Prabhu to a secluded place, and sitting with him, he said this, that Nityanande Agyadilo Jao Gaudadeshe Anar Gau Prema Bhakti Kodaho Prakashe, the verse that we began with today. So he ordered Nityananda, Nityanande Agyadilo, he gave him the order, Jao Gaudadeshe, you go back to, Nityananda had been away for 4 years, had been in Puri for 4 years. You go back to Gaudadesh, Onargal, without restriction, Onargal Prema Bhakti Kodaho Prakashe, and you preach Krishna consciousness. And Mahaprabhu is further elaborating that, in Navadip, that's the place of my birth, and so many of my devotees there, and there are others also that weren't delivered. Actually, in his purport, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says that Gaushundur ordered Nityananda Prabhu to preach in Gaudadesh. All intelligent, aristocratic, learned people of Gaudadesh accepted the religion preached by Gaushundur. All of the learned, aristocratic people and intelligent people, they accepted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. But the foolish, the wretched, the fallen souls, they didn't. And so to liberate them, Lord Chaitanya sent Nityananda Prabhu to Gaudadesh. Mahaprabhu had promised that he would deliver all the ignorant, fallen people who are useless. And so he sent Lord Nityananda Prabhu to Bengal to uplift them. Murko, Nicha, Potit, Dukita, Jota John, Bhakti Diya Koro, Giya, Shabare Mochon. You deliver them all, Shabare Mochon. The Murka, Nicha, Potit, Dukito. You deliver the foolish, the wretched, the fallen, and the distressed people. Agyapaya, on that, at that very moment, Agyapaya, having received that order, Agyapaya. Nityananda Chandra, Totakone, then at that time, Totakone. Immediately, Totakone. Chalilen Gaudadeshe Lai Nijagone. He went to Gaudadesh taking his Nijagon. His personal associates with him. So his personal associates are the cowherd boys of Vrindavan. Cowherd boys of Vrindavan, who are Lord Balaram's friends, Lord Balaram's cowherd boy friends. They also, the Dwadasha Gopagon, 12 predominant associates of Lord Balaram from Vrindavan, Dwadasha Gopagon, the cowherd boys. They appeared in different families in Navadip, in Bengal, to associate with Nityananda Prabhu. So some of those devotees are now mentioned in the forms that they assumed in the Gaur Leela. He mentions the associates of Lord Nityananda. Ram Dash, Godadha Dash, Mahashai, Raghunath, Boydha, Ojja, Bhakti Rosh, Shamoy, Ram Das, Godadha Das is a Godadha Das, we'll discuss a little bit. Raghunath, Boydha, they're all filled with Bhakti Rosh Moy, filled with the devotional mellows. Krishna Das Pandit, Parameshwar Das, Purananda Pandit, Paramulash. These devotees are Paramulash. They're overwhelmed with ecstasy, most jubilant all the time. Nityananda Swarupe Jota Aptagon. Intimate associates. Nityananda Swarupe Jota Aptagon. Nityananda Shange Shabai Korilangamon. They all associated. They all joined him on the journey to Gaudadesh from Puri. So as they began, Vrindavan Thakur, he describes how they were journeying from Jagannath Puri to Bengal, and they were constantly displaying symptoms of love of Godhead, being overwhelmed in ecstasy, that they kept on losing the track. Sometimes they would go to the left, and sometimes they would go to the right, constantly in ecstasy, relishing the feelings of love of Godhead. And then they would ask the people, where is Bengal? They would ask the people. Kotakone, Pote. So after some time of wandering and not knowing where they are, Kotakone, Pot, Jigyashen, Logstane. They inquired from the people who were in that place. Bolo Bhai, Ganga Tide, Jabo Kemone. How will we reach Ma Ganga? Tell us, brothers, how will we reach Ma Ganga? And the local people replied, oh, you've come so far from Ma Ganga. Oh, you have to go 20 miles that way. No. So they changed direction and they'd go along for some time. But again, they'd be overwhelmed in ecstasy. They forgot where they were going, where they were coming from. And they'd have to ask someone else, oh no, you have to go 20 miles this way. And in this way, it took a long time. Because they're preaching the whole time. They're distributing love of Godhead the whole time. Puna, Hashi, Shabai, Cholen, Pot, Jota, laughing and laughing again, they came to the right path. Nij deho na janen poter ki kota. Nij deho na janen poter ki kota. They forgot their own bodies. They forgot about sleeping, resting, eating, everything. What to speak of the path, remembering the path. They forgot their own bodies. Pote, Joto, Lila, Korilen, Nityananda, Ke Boniba, Ke Ba Jane, Shokal Ananta. Who can describe the pastimes that Lord Nityananda performed while he was traveling to Bengal from Puri on that path? Pote, Joto, Lila, Korilen. Ke Banibe, Ke Ba Jane, who even knows of all of the pastimes? Shokal Ananta, they're unlimited. Henomate, Nityananda, Sri Ananta Dham, Nityananda, Sri Ananta Dham, Ananta Shesh is the origin of Sri Ananta Shesh. Henomate, Nityananda, Sri Ananta Dham, Oilen Ganga Tide Panihati Gram. So he reached Panihati Gram. I had desire to discuss these topics in Nitai Gaur Mandir because all of these places, there's Apna De Shampati. These places, it's Bengal, because we have Mayapur, we have ISKCON Mayapur, but that's kind of, Mayapur is the whole world. Whole world. But Bengal, who's responsible for Bengal? Mayapur, no, it's Gonitai Mandir, Newtown. In Mayapur, we're busy hosting the whole world, but who will deliver Bengal? Huh? Don't leave it up to Mayapur. The preaching in Bengal. Panihati, such an important place. Panihati. Mahaprabhu Leela and Nityananda Prabhu Leela and Panihati. So how long it takes to get from here, Panihati? 45 minutes. Oh my, we chant loud enough they would hear us in Panihati. It's so close. So you reach Panihati. It's close by here. Panihati. I wanted to do that here. Let's talk about Lord Nityananda and Bengal preaching here because it's so relevant for us. So along with his associates, he reached Panihati. The special place in Raghav Pandit, the cowherd boys, the Leela. Let's see now. The Leela of Chira Dohi at Panihati. That's later, because Nityananda Prabhu, he's first coming to Bengal now, and in the first place he arrives is Panihati, and he begins. He's preaching there, and then subsequently, following this order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, he remained in Bengal. He's coming now. He arrived, but he remained, and so he would travel around. So later, on a later occasion, he came again to Panihati, and Raghunath Das heard that he was there, and Raghunath Das came and fed all of his devotees. He was given the punishment. The punishment was because you're trying to achieve the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without coming through Lord Nityananda. So you have to be punished. And the punishment is you can feed all of my associates, the Chira Dahi, and Raghunath Das arranged everything. And then they're enjoying on the banks of the Ganga, and Raghav Pandit comes and says, I've cooked on shabji, so many items, you come. And Nityananda, he says that, Gopa jati ami bahut gopagon shonge amar shukpaye pulin bojan ronge. He says that Gopa jati, I'm a cowherd boy. Bahut gopagon shonge. And I've come with so many other cowherd boys. Amar shukpai, we get happiness. Ei pulin bojan ronge. Having a picnic on the bank of the river. Because it reminds them of Vrindavan. The cowherd boys, every day they would go and have picnic on the banks of the Jamuna. So this service that Raghunath Das, what was it? It was to facilitate their mood of bring Brajabasi cowherd boys. And then that was the punishment. That in that way he got their mercy by creating a festival where they could enjoy the mood of being cowherd boys in Vrindavan. So this is the secret to understanding Nityananda Prabhu. Understand he's in the mood of a cowherd boy. In the mood of Lord Balaram, in the mood of a cowherd boy. But he's been ordered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to preach Krishna consciousness. So then Nityananda, he desired to perform kirtan, and all the great kirtaniyas came before him. Madhav Ghosh, Sri Madhav Ghosh, Jaha Kohen, Vrindavan Gayan. They called him the kirtaniya of Vrindavan. Nityananda Saruper Mahapriyatam. So much he enjoyed those kirtans of Madhav Ghosh. And the purport, Sanatana Thakur says that Sri Madhav, Vasudeva and Govinda Ghosh were all expert in performing kirtan. They were not like ordinary mundane kirtan leaders. Ordinary mundane kirtan leaders. That's such a statement. That whether he's referring to professional, but even in our ordinary mundane kirtan leaders. But just try to understand how exalted were such kirtaniyas of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who are addressed as the singers of Vrindavan. Vrindavan era Gayon. Madhav, Govinda, Vasudev, Tin Bhai, Gayite Lagila, Nache Ishara Nitai. When these three brothers would sing, Madhav, Govinda, Vasudev, Tin Bhai, Gayite Lagila, when they would sing, Nache Ishara Nitai, Nityananda Prabhu would dance. And he would enjoy such ecstasy in those kirtans, roaring like thunder. And he would fall crashing to the ground, and all of the people would stand back and look in amazement. His kirtan. When his glance, Nityananda Prabhu is in Panihati, when his glance would fall upon anybody, immediately they would be surcharged with prema, love of God, just by glancing at them. Paripurna, prema rashmoy, Nityananda, Shankshar, Torite, Korilen, Shubh Aramba. Paripurna prema rashmoy, Paripurna prema rashmoy, he's so filled with the mellows of ecstatic love. Paripurna prema rashmoy, Nityananda, Shankshar, Torite, Korilen, Shubha Aramba. He began his pastimes of delivering the entire universe. Began his pastimes of delivering. Just by, in this way, wandering with his associates and performing kirtan, he was delivering the entire universe. Jotek, Achila, Prem, Bhakti, Bika, all of the different symptoms of Prema Bhakti, love of Godhead, Shab, Prakashya, Nritta Koren, Apan, they would all manifest in the form of Lord Nityananda whilst he was walking and performing. And then they performed Abhishek. Raghav, Pandit, Adi, Parishad, Gane, Abhishek, Korite, Lagila, Shekhane. And they began to perform Abhishek of Lord Nityananda. So hundreds of pots, they bought hundreds of pots of Ganga Jal, perfume bought from the Ganga, chanting the holy name, dancing, kirtan, Lord Nityananda sitting on the Vyashashan, performing kirtan, bathing him extensively, Abhishek. And then they brought fresh clothes, sandalwood paste, and they decorated it with garlands and tulasi leaves. And he sat on the ornate Vishnu throne, which was shining gold, with flower garlands. And Raghav Pandit stood behind, and he held an umbrella over the head of Lord Nityananda. Jai Dani Korite Lagila Bhaktagan Chatur Dike Hoilo Maha Ananda Bidhan. So much ecstasy in all directions as the devotees chanted the Hari Dani Jai, Jai, Jai. Swa Anubhav Anande. Swa Anubhav Anande. In ecstasy of his own self. Swa Anubhav Anande. Prabhu. Nityananda Roy. Prem Dristi. Dristi Kori. Chari Dike Jai. Prem Prem dristi bristi. He's crying, he's glancing around, and everyone he's looking upon is bestowed with love of Godhead, as he's crying and shedding tears during this kirtan and abhishek. So we'll hear more about Nityananda Prabhu's preaching in Panihati Gram next time we meet, whenever that is. I'm not sure if that's tonight or no. We're going. Yeah. Anyway, Acharya Ratna Prabhu, he's got everything organized. He's given me the schedule. We'll follow it strictly. Whenever that is, we'll meet again. We'll carry on. So, any questions on the topics of today? We were discussing Mahaprabhu going to Puri, ordering Lord Nityananda to preach in Bengal. Yes, Prabhu. Question? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for such a wonderful, elaborate description of the pastimes of Lord Nityananda. Just wanted to ask one question. When Lord Nityananda, as you said, that he stayed for 4 years in Puri Dham, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left for South India too, Nityananda Prabhu stayed back in Puri for next 4 years. So where did he stay exactly, and in the pastime? He performed.
Yeah, so they went together, and then Mahaprabhu, he went immediately after a few weeks. He went to South India, and Lord Nityananda stayed for 2 years while Mahaprabhu was in South India, and then Mahaprabhu came back, and Mahaprabhu was also kept for another 2 years. He was trying to go to Vrindavan, but he was always given different excuses by Ramananda Roy, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, so he remained another 2 years. So it was 4 years that Lord Nityananda was there. Pastimes, they're here, and some pastimes are here and there in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Chaitanya Bhagavatam. Some different pastimes are here and there, but a specific, elaborate descriptions of what Lord Nityananda did at that time, I'm not aware of that. You can ask. I don't know where he stayed in Puri. Ask Ananga Mohan, Bhakti Pushtam, Swami Maharaj. They know these things. What he did, where he stayed in Puri, I don't know that. Anything else this morning? Oh, tonight we're in New Alipur. Yeah. And tomorrow we're here in the morning. Tomorrow. Yeah. So we'll be discussing, we'll carry on tomorrow. Well, those of you who are at New Alipur tonight, you'll hear about more from this point, but tomorrow we'll carry on from where we leave off tonight. And we'll be listening about Mahaprabhu. He goes to Shantipur. He's in Shantipur, stays there 3 months. Actually, Nityananda Prabhu stays there 3 months in Shantipur Leela. And then he goes to, Panihati. He stays in Panihati 3 months. And then from there he goes to Shantipur. So I think when we meet together in the morning tomorrow, we'll be talking about Mahaprabhu dealing with Advaita Acharya in Shantipur. And then Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya in Shantipur. And then Nityananda Prabhu, he goes to Navadip. And he's preaching in Navadip. So we'll just discuss that over the next few days. Thank you very much. Shri Nitai Gauchandra ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Shamaveta Gau Bhakta Vrinda ki, Hari Hari Bo.
Grace Atul Krishna Prabhu ki.